At this time, I'd like to invite Reverend Wendy Bartel and Reverend Lynn, Gardner, who serve the Sierra Foothills Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Auburn, California. They were married in 2008, and this evening, in the wake of this tragedy, are grateful for this time to be with queer kin and allies. Thank you.
Buenas noches. Good evening. We gather to honor the families, to condemn the violence, and to remember the dead. The Pulse Dance Club in Orlando was hosting a Latino, Latina, Latinx night, and we recognized the multiple layers of marginalization that queer and transgender people of color experience in the wider culture. And our hearts break even more when we think about the multiple layers of impact of this violent act. Cesar Chavez once said, "We draw our strength from the very despair in which we have been forced to live. We shall endure." And we would add, we will not only endure, we must rise against anything that gets in the way of love. And salam alaikum. This is a traditional Muslim greeting to which one replies, alaikum assalam. It means peace be unto you. Salam alaikum, alaikum assalam. Salam alaikum,
alaikum assalam.
May peace be unto you. Our religious tradition, Unitarian Universalism, finds inspiration from many places, including science, reason, and our lived experiences. And we recognize that there is wisdom to be found in the many beautiful paths to truth that all come from various world religious traditions. So in other words, from our perspective, there are many, many beautiful paths to truth that all come from and lead to love. We also gathered tonight to remind ourselves of our own humanity. These kinds of acts can cause us to want to hide, to go back into the closets, but we must remain visible as our fabulous selves. That's right. This act of violence can cause us to want to be angry and lash out. But we must not become the violence that we see, but rather become the peace that we seek. We must take time and space to grieve, to be angry for sure, because what happened was awful. And we can focus our profound sorrow and our benevolent rage to get involved in changing the world.
This tragic event is one in a long series of acts of violent shootings, and we need compassionate and sane regulation of firearms. This horrible event is one in a long series of acts against queer folks, and we need cultural, media, religious, and governmental shifts so that we are seen as people, not abominations or objects of ridicule. This evil event is one in a long series of violent acts against people of color, and we need to grapple with white supremacy and systems of oppression that have woven throughout this nation's troubled history. We need compassion. We need courage. We need one another. We've been taught to fear one another, to not talk to strangers, to stick with our own kind. We've been taught to be racist, to be heterosexist and homophobic. We've all been carefully taught to categorize and blame and to judge one another. We can, I dare say we must, learn new lessons. As mammals, we need connections to thrive, and we can practice that right now. So I invite you to look around and really see all the beautiful beings who are here together this evening. The view is lovely from up here, I should just say.
Go ahead, look.
And if seeing is not available to you, to simply sense the presence of these beloveds.
Go ahead.
Do it. You can do it. Turn your head.
Yeah, that's right.
Look.
Don't be afraid.
We are here with many ethnic identities, orientations, class differences, ages, and religious backgrounds. We are here with broken hearts. We are here because we need one another. And because of that, I'm going to ask you to take a risk now, tender as your hearts may be. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to turn to someone that you don't yet know and introduce yourself by sharing your first name and saying, I am so glad you're here with me. Will you find the courage to do just that with one person? And now turn to someone else and share your name and say, thank you for being here with me. And tonight, as you make your way back home, be compassionate to those people. Say hello to folks as you pass them on the sidewalk or in the store. Greet strangers with a smile, offering warmth and connection to everyone you see.
Because there are far too many people who are responding to this horrific act of violence by calling for judgment, separation, fear, hatred, and blame. But we do not have to give in to that. As the prophet, the Reverend Dr. King said, we must meet the forces of hate with the power of love. Join us in standing and moving on the side of love and Orlando, and with all who are perceived to be or who actually are queer, transgender, gay, bisexual, lesbian, because we all thrive when we each can live into the fullness of who we are. Join us in dancing on the side of love with all, I saw that, that's excellent. Dancing on the side of love with all who are Latino, Latina, Latinx, because we need your particular pride, your particular rhythms, your movement. Join us in praying on the side of love with the Muslim community during this holy month of Ramadan. We need everyone's faithful commitment to peace. Join us in healing on the side of love with those who are injured and with the friends and families of those who have died. We acknowledge the vastness of these losses and the enormity of your love. Join us in living on the side of love, knowing that love is all sides and has no side. Keep reaching out. Keep connecting. Be gentle with yourselves and one another. Together we will rise, resilient, bold, and courageously loving. May it be so. Salam, shalom, namaste, ashe, aho, amen, and blessed be.